Hi everyone, I wanted to show you some books that I've enjoyed reading so far and tell you which ones I think are good, which ones I wasn't that impressed with, and show you what I thought. So I've got 5 books here that I've read those for, and obviously this one is one of those where it's massive and I've read sections of it but not the whole thing. So these are the 5 books, sorry. So we've got the Crystal Bible, the Little Book of Practical Magic, by Sarah Bartlett, the Crystal Bible by Judy Hall, the Green Wiccan Spellbook, just says Silja on it, Wicker by Leanne Greenaway, and the Wicca Handbook by Eileen Holland. So I'm going to go through them one at a time. So this is the first one I read. Just move my stuff out the way. So this is the first one I read. This is the Wicca Handbook by Eileen Holland. And this is the one, just move the tripod a little bit. This is the first one that I read when I first started wanting to find out about Wicca. And I found this book really good actually. I really enjoyed reading it. It gave me quite a lot of information and I think this was a good place to start. This one took me, I think it took me a week or 2 to read this one. So you've got a bit of introductions about Wicca and starting in magic. So it tells you about like the witchy tools and Book of Shadows and all that sort of stuff. Invocations, casting spells, writing spells, that sort of thing. And then in the craft it's got like different spells and things that you can try. Tells you about the elements and their like significance. Tells you about the major and minor major and minor magic, spells and correspondences, the Wiccan read. Just trying to think. Yeah, it's got things on health and healing, about magic numbers, number squares and stuff like that, but I wasn't too bothered about that. So yeah, I mean, I found there's lots of information about like the planets and correspondences and crystals and all that sort of thing. So there's quite a lot in there, and I found that was a good starting point that got me started off. So I did enjoy that one. These are all bought with my own money, by the way. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. I'm not even remotely connected to these people or these books. These are just what I've picked up from the bookstore and tried myself. This one I got from, I think I got this one from Waterstones. I'm sure I did. It was like $11.99, but it was a good one. So I would recommend that. That's one I will refer back to in the future. The next one I tried was this one, which is Around Plain and Simple Wicca by Leanne Greenaway. This one was $8.99. I don't know if I got this one from the works or from the bookshop, I'm not sure. This one, it's very brief, very basic, very simple. Gives you a little bit of information about history, not a lot. So like I mentioned, refers a little bit to the witch trials and stuff. Doesn't give you much. It tells you about the Wiccan belief. It tells you about different sorts of witches, like traditional witch, Garnerian witch, hereditary witch, hedge witch, kitchen witch, solitary witch, and all that sort of stuff. Wicca and positive thought, tools for the beginner witch. So it goes briefly into tools like the athame and everything. Lunar magic. Initiation for ones getting initiated. Bits about herbs, animal magic. What was the other bit? Oh, tarot. Tells you about tarot, gives you some more information about those. Although I found the other book I've read gives you more information, which I found more useful. If you've not read a Wicca book before, this one's a good starting point to just give you a general idea. it doesn't go deeply into it. So if you like, well, this one doesn't really, but this one goes deeper into it than this one. This one's very sort of skimming the surface, just giving you like a brief overview, which is useful if you're starting out. But if you've already read this one's pretty pointless. Basically anything you're reading here is in here, if you get what I mean. But if you've not read any Wicca books before, this one's a good one to start. Another one I read is the Green Wiccan spell book. This one's useful for the spells and stuff, and some rituals for the espats and the sabbats. The other information I didn't really find I learnt anything from it because I'd sort of already covered it. But this one's useful for the spells, because obviously this one's designed as a spell book, not as a Wicca information book. So this one's got loads of different spells to try, loads of different things like welcoming a new baby, hand fasting, rituals for the Sabbats. Obviously I've got that one folded over because it's Samhain soon. It's got some little tips. It's got a glossary of terms in case you're not sure what stuff means, like explaining what pantheon is, pagan, divination, that sort of thing. So again, useful little book. And this one I got from the Works. It's supposed to be $7.99. I'm sure I got it for $4.99. It was like $3 or $4.99 from the Works. It was in the like there's just a bunch of cheap Wiccan books that I found. So that one's quite a good one. And obviously because it's like a green Wiccan one, it's a lot about like herbs and herbal magic. So that's useful if you're not sure what a green Wiccan does and you want a little idea. Now obviously I'm speaking from the point of view of someone brand new to this who doesn't know a lot about Wicca. So obviously, you know, my opinions are from a beginner, like a baby Wiccan sort of point of view. But obviously, you know, I know that there are the Scott Cunningham books are supposed to be really good. He wrote loads of books on Wicca and spells and all different things. Now, his books have currently been a bit out of my price range because there's so many of them. But apparently the one where it's like a guide to the solitary practitioner is like the main one to read, which is one of the ones I'm going to get next. And then the other one I want to get is there's a girl on YouTube called Harmony Nice who has a great YouTube channel that tells you loads about like Wicca, paganism and stuff like that. And she's got a book out, which is, again, it's one of the next ones I'm gonna get to read. But obviously I don't want to like blow all my money in 1 month on books. So what I'm doing is I'm doing it staggered. So like every month, couple of months, depending on how long it takes me to read the ones I've got so far, then I'll pick up another 2 or 3 books. So I want to get Harmony Nice's book and Scott Cunningham's book this month, hopefully, once I get paid. So these are the ones I got so far. So yeah, those 3. Like I said, if you've read that one, you don't need to read this one. If you've never read that one, this one's useful. And this one's useful for the spells in it. Another one which I finished reading is this one, which is the Little Book of Practical Magic. And I did find this one useful. This has got a lot about like your crystals and horoscopes, and it's got a lot about tarot in here. I found this one's better for the information about tarot cards and using them than that one. I think, no, it was that one that had a bit of tarot in, didn't it? This one tells you about like auras and chakras, spells, enchantments, protection stuff, divination. Palmistry I'm not interested in, and numerology I'm not too, but that numerology seems a bit too much like effort. Like it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit too much like maths for me, so I'm not too bothered about numerology. I've done little bits of it, but it's doesn't particularly bother me. My favourite is my preferred thing is oracle cards. And then I do want to get some runes at some point and start working with runes. But I haven't found a set that are within my budget, so I might just make my own. But I'm still working on that. This one is good for, like I said, information about tarot and stuff. It's got information about spells and things, and a load of stuff about astrology, like your star signs and stuff, which is useful, and correspondences, a bit about crystals, magic number squares, which I'm not too bothered about. So yeah, even though I've read these three, I still found this one useful, so that's another one you could try. That was £8.99. I'm sure I got that from the bookshop. I think it was those two I got from the works, I think. Some of them I've got cheaper than others. This could be from the works as well. I'm sure I've got about 4. Might be the other ones on my shelf are from the works. I've got, because I've had some from the bookshop, you know, like Waterstones or whatever, and then I've had the others from like the works. So I've paid varying prices. I've not paid full price for all these. The only one I paid full price for was that one. Like I said, that says £8.99, but I'm sure I got that for about £6. That one, £8.99. I'm sure I got that for about £5, and then that one was only about £3-4 for this one. The other one that I've been using is this one, the Crystal Bible. Now, obviously, you know that I've got a thing about crystals. I've always liked crystals since I was a kid, and I'm reading more into it and finding more out about it. What I like about this one is it gives you a guide, obviously a guide about the crystals and stuff and what they're used for, but I like how it also has pictures. You wouldn't believe how many like things I've read, like this one, and I think it's that one as well, especially this one and this one, where they mention the crystals but there's no pictures. And I know some crystals, but obviously I don't know all of them, and obviously if you've never used crystals before, you're not going to have a clue, so you need pictures. This is great. This tells you obviously how crystals are formed, where they come from, their uses. But what I like is the pictures. They have pictures on them. It tells you about, like, you know, crystal meditation and obviously using them for healing and stuff. But it has pictures and they're colour photographs, which is awesome. So I had one stone that looks very much like this, and I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was. Because obviously you buy them, like where I get them from, it does say on the receipt what the crystal is. But obviously if I've lost the receipt, I can't remember. I only remember the ones I'm more familiar with. So I finally figured out the one I've got is a blue lace agate. But what I like, they've all got these lovely big pictures. It tells you their colour, the appearance, the rarity, the source, where they come from. It tells you about their healing properties and additional properties and that sort of thing. But it's the fact that they've got pictures. So I've been able to use this to like identify crystals I've got, and also to pinpoint which ones I want to use for specific things. So it was this book I used when I identified the crystals I wanted to wear around my neck, which I wear every day, which is an amethyst and a clear quartz that I wear as well as my pentagram, because that's when I was going through that, you know, being really ill with my chest again, and I've got a chest infection for 2 weeks, and that when I did the I mentioned in that vlog a while ago where I ended up in hospital again with my asthma, because it was horrible. I just felt like I was suffocating, and I wanted something in addition to obviously traditional medicine and everything. I wanted something in addition to give me a bit of a sort of psychological boost. So that's where I chose which crystals to use, and both of them are to heal me and to give me sort of peace and just make me feel better. And fingers crossed, so far so good. So that's why I wear those particular crystals every day. And then I've got these couple of crystals out, because I've got my rose quartz, which is to attract love in your life and make everything nice. Obviously just really brushing over the surface of meanings. And then this one's supposed to be for like emotion. This is lapis lazuli, which is supposed to be for like emotional healing and spiritual healing. I just felt I wanted those two out today. And then I've got my candle just because I like my candles. And these are just to make it look pretty on the video. These are from leftover from when I was making my Halloween broom decoration, and I just think they're gorgeous. I love them because they're very sort of wintry, Christmassy, autumnal. So I do like those. So yeah, if you want to try out some books, this one's definitely the main one I'd say that I've read so far that I prefer. I mean, I might read the Scott Cunningham or the Harmony Nice one and actually recommend that as even better, but obviously I won't know till I've read it. But from the ones I've read so far, this is my favourite. This one talks to you in it's a very friendly way that the author has written the book and explains quite a lot. I wouldn't say it's mega in depth, but it's really good for like a good overview. This one, like I said, if you haven't read this one will do the job. It'll give you a little brief overview. Like it says, plain and simple. It is plain and simple. This one's quite useful for more information on tarot, crystals, auras, horoscopes, spells and that sort of thing. This one's useful for green Wiccan spells, like you know, herbal remedies, that sort of thing. And then this one's just a really good general one if you're getting into crystals and you want to be able to identify crystals, know their uses, their meanings, and that sort of thing. So yeah, this is what I've been reading so far. As you can see, I've been reading loads. Not 100% sure I've managed to read all of these, but mostly it's been evenings and weekends. I'll have the odd day where I read a load, and then I'll have days where I don't touch them, but these are the ones I've read so far over the last month. I can't read of a night time because I fall asleep too quick. Literally as soon as I lie down, I'm asleep. So I have to read during the day or the weekend. So, yep, these are the ones I can recommend so far. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching. Don't forget as well, if you've got a Kindle, you can also get quite a lot of books cheaper because they'll be cheaper on the Kindle version. So you could get them on your Kindle. That's also advantageous if you are not sure about anyone knowing that you are reading about this sort of stuff, like maybe your relatives don't approve, or you just feel that you want to like keep it to yourself. You don't really want to share what you're reading and learning about. I mean, my family doesn't care, so I mean, I've got these all over the place, but you know, my family, luckily, my immediate family, like, you know, my husband and that, they're very open and very sort of like, you know, whatever you want to find out about, go ahead. You know, we're very much like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, there's no harm in finding out about something, and if it suits you, it suits you. If you decide later on you don't like it, fair enough, you know, please yourself sort of thing. But obviously you might be in a situation where your family disapproves or might get the wrong idea, because a lot of people associate Wicca with basically you just worship the devil and stuff, which is not true. Like I've said before, the devil is a Christian construct that's not recognised in Wicca. Basically in Wicca, if you do like a bad deed or anything like that, basically it's your fault. You did it, not some divine entity that made you do it, sort of thing. So yeah. So yeah, get it on a Kindle if you want to be able to read the books and not really have them all lying around. Or if you prefer digital copies of books anyway, you can, like I said, you can get them on your Kindle. You could get them wherever you download them online, to get them on your iPad, your phone, anything like that. You know what I mean? You don't have to have physical books. I myself prefer physical books, but that's just because I'm old and I grew up with physical books and I like to be able to refer back to them. And there's just, I don't know, something seems nicer about actually handling the physical book than having it on a electronic device. And I prefer reading off paper than electronic devices because sometimes that hurts my eyes. So yeah, hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Blessed be. Bye for now.